Ah, nice to see you again, Miss Holliday. Still interested in learning about our local legends?
Absolutely.
This book will reveal many things to you. As a single source, it doesn't constitute proof, but I have other volumes that verify its claims.
Well, books can only explain so much, but thank you. I'm sure I'll find it fascinating. Finally, I found someone in this little town that doesn't get on my nerves. The town librarian, Peter Durant, is well educated and quite helpful. He also seems to be the sole link to the real history of Burkittsville. I tried to instill some doubt in him, but he's rock solid in his beliefs. He gave me a book entitled Frederick County Tales of the Supernatural. Mostly superstitions and local folklore. The few entries that mention the Blair Witch don't offer anything beyond what Spookhouse has already gathered. Is this everything that's been written concerning the Blair Witch?
Believe any of it now?
Interesting, but hardly conclusive. By the way, the Robin Weaver incident was mentioned in the book you loaned me. Since you were actually there, do you remember anything they might have missed?
Well, there was one man that stands out in my mind. He came in right in the middle of everything. He had a massive wound on his head and claimed he had no memory. Robin Weaver's grandmother called him some biblical name. What was it? Oh, yes, Lazarus, like the man that was raised from the dead. I talked to him briefly, skeptical of his intentions, but I doubt he had anything to do with Robin's disappearance. He was pretty keen on finding her.
What happened to him?
I'm not sure. Just sort of disappeared. Maybe the witch got him. Yep, Burkittsville has a strange history. Amazing stuff.
Excuse me?
Oh, good Lord. Hello there. I'm sorry. I must have drifted off.
I can return later if you like.
No, don't rush off. I'm Suzanne Ascot. Can I help you?
My name is Elspeth Hollyday. I'm here in search of my missing niece.
Oh, no. This nightmare is endless.
Are you all right?
All right? How could I possibly be all right? Over half my students were slaughtered. My children.
I know what's happened must have taken a terrible toll on you. I wish there was something I could do.
You'll have to excuse me. I haven't been myself lately. No, there's nothing you can do for me. Thank you, though. I'm terribly sorry about your niece.
Why don't you just leave town? Get away for a while.
If it were only that easy. But that's up to my husband.
Your husband?
Mm-hmm. Stephen Ascot, pastor of the church. I've asked him, begged him to move away, but he refuses. He says that without him, no one would be left in the town to appeal to God. Satan would swallow Burkittsville whole. But we've already lost 8 of our beautiful children.
8? Now, I thought only 7 died.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Brody. Well, he isn't dead, but how could anyone say he's alive? Poor boy. He'll never be the same.
What's wrong with him?
After he escaped from Parr, he became unreachable. He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't talk.
That's awful. He must have been severely traumatized.
I just wish there was some way to pull those terrible memories out of his head.
I do too.
Especially after a glimpse of what's in his mind. He drew this a few weeks ago. Some weird scribbles and symbols with the words, "Leave me alone."
That is disturbing.
Yes, I know. I almost stopped going by to check on him after I saw this. It's just so heartbreaking.
Would you mind if I kept this?
Well, if you want it. I know I'd be happy never to see it again.
Would it be possible for me to see Kyle?
That's not a good idea. He's not big on strangers anymore.
He's not the only one.
You could always try, though. I'd love to have your help if you think there's a way you can break through to him. The Brody house is out behind the hotel.
The children Parr murdered accounted for half of the town's child population, and now it seems that the one survivor, a boy named Kyle Brody, is lost in a world of his own. The local schoolteacher, Suzanne Ascot, has been keeping track of Kyle's progress during his recovery from the abduction. She showed me one of the boy's drawings. There are strange symbols in the sketch that resemble alphabetic characters. Almost runic, but nothing I recognize. There might be something more to these markings. Perhaps Kyle saw these symbols at Rustin Parr's house. If the townspeople hadn't burned the place to the ground, I could get samples and possibly translate the alphabet. Kyle Brody's house is behind the motel. I'll try to meet with him myself.
How can I help you, ma'am?
Mrs. Brody, I'm Elspeth Hollyday. My sister...
Yes, I've heard about you, and I am sorry for your loss, but you'll find no answers here.
I'd like to speak with Kyle to see if he remembers anything about Jenny.
You will do no such thing. Listen, Miss Holliday, I know the pain your family must be going through, but I don't know if my son will ever be the same. Some days he seems like he's making progress, and then he slips back away from me. It's a mother's worst nightmare. Since they found him in Parte, he's been like the walking dead. Oh, God, it rips my heart out to see him like this every day. Please, just go away. Just go. Don't bother my family anymore, for God's sake. We've been through enough. Goodbye, Miss Holliday.
Just met Kyle Brody's mother. She's in pretty bad shape, and the boy's even worse. He sits on his porch, staring blankly off into space and clutching a ragged teddy bear. I'm convinced now that Pa was practicing some form of black magic. The symbols in Kyle's sketch are too uniform to be random scrawlings. They must be characters of some sort of alphabet, something that burned into his memory. They have some similarity with the demonic scripture I've seen. But how would Rustin Parr have learned a demon's alphabet? I'm ready to go into the woods now. I better take my gear with me. This isn't my room. I'm ready to go into the woods now. I better take my gear with me. Finally, to Pa's house, and perhaps visit Coffin Rock as well. The map grows awfully vague this far from town. I'm close to Pa's house, but I'll have to fill in my own details from here. The map grows awfully vague this far from town. I'm close to Pa's house, but I'll have to fill in my own details from here. I smell burnt wood. Pa's house must be nearby. So this is Coffin Rock, and I have to say I can feel something. There's something oppressive about this area. The air feels thick, dank, but charged with electricity. My senses aren't picking up anything. No ghosts anywhere. But this is definitely a place that has witnessed evil. I wish I could bring the whole team out here. Oh, but it would obviously attract too much attention. Pa's house can't be too far away now. Where am I? Something very strange has happened. I've entered an area of unnatural darkness. I heard strange sounds and saw some sort of movement. Things seem to be back to normal now. I'll need to analyze my recordings of those odd noises. This is strange. Someone has placed piles of stones and odd stick figures here. They appear to be roughly in the shape of a human. Perhaps it's ceremonial or symbolic. I don't know if these stones have anything to do with what I just experienced, but there seems to be a deliberate purpose to their arrangement. If there is witchcraft involved, there's no telling what sort of booby traps are attached to these things. I'd best leave everything as is. I should find Pa's house. It must be close. I should find Pa's house. It must be close. I found Pa's house. Well, what's left of it anyway. The people from Burkittsville were quite thorough in demolishing this place. I was hoping that some of the interior would have survived, but they've nearly leveled the place. But there were markings on the wall. I can just barely make them out. Honestly, if I'd only been able to see these before the house was burned down. Perhaps if I wipe some of this grime away... Oh, it's no use. The walls are too burnt. Where did my kerchief go? Huh, it couldn't have just disappeared. Well, there's nothing more I can do here. Time to move on. There just might be something in these woods. I certainly can't explain that brief darkness. I'll have to look into that when I get back into town. Something powerful is hiding in these woods. Spook House requires more than just a bad feeling to warrant a full investigation. Unless I actually see anything, this case is closed. I need to get back to my hotel room. I'll report to Spook House that I've found nothing. Right, back to the hotel. I'll let Spook House know I've found nothing. That should amuse stranger. The canes and sticks are gone. Oh, I could have sworn this is where they were. I don't remember the path turning like this before. This doesn't correspond to the map. Here again? Well, now I'm positive I've been walking in circles. Admit it, Elspeth. You are lost. How are you going to find your way back now?